Hey everybody, welcome to the Kingdom Live. My name is Zan Johnson and this is Adam Steinhardt, Managing Director of the Kingdom. Welcome, Adam.
Welcome to the week, Zan. Trying very hard not to frown, apparently.
Yes.
That was the problems last week.
Frowning is not good for you.
No.
Must look wrinkle-free and carefree all times.
Okay, topic.
Today we're going to talk about inbound marketing versus outbound marketing and why you should do one, the other, or both.
Or none.
Or none. So I think we should start with what the differences are between inbound and outbound marketing, Adam.
Zan, thank you very much. So the challenge is inbound to outbound, the differences, who knows what. Now, most of the world is very familiar with outbound marketing, kind of marketing where you're talking to the people about how great your business is. Come and check us out, pick me, you're the choice of business. Now, this obviously originates back to the dark old ages where people are trying to sell things.
Yep.
And then with the more recent, when I say more recent, the 20th century sort of stuff, radio, TV, press, these different methods of just saying, come on, this is what I've got to sell, buy me, buy me. Now, of course, that used to work in the old days because there was no other way that people could find out about your product or your service. But of course, now with the internet, the power of the mobile phone means that there's plenty of ability for people to discover what they want to buy on the internet before they even worry about your business who's screaming, pick me. So inbound marketing is a process of creating a website that nurtures and provides trust to the prospect so they end up reaching out to you, speaking to you, choosing you via the website. So it's bringing them in to your business by being attractive to them. So they're kind of the differences are.
Okay, so I guess to sort of dumb it down a little, it's bringing people in and then you push your advertising out for outbound.
Correct,
Okay.
yeah. So either pushing out to the world, saying how great you are, or bringing them down a funnel, helping them with their problems.
Okay, so let's say I'm a marketing manager or a coordinator within a business. How am I to know what is the best form of marketing for my requirements for my business?
Yeah, well, I think whatever marketing method you choose, it's got to work. And so inbound marketing has become very powerful because of the way the consumers have changed and the way they're trying to find out and buy businesses. So one of the things that you'll find is that no matter how they hear about you, consumers are going to want to go to your website and get validation or understand what you are selling. So even if you are screaming out there with TV commercials and radio and outbound messages, chances are pretty high that the consumer is still going to come to your website and still want to discover something to reinforce what you're talking about in that 30-second screen. So the choice is that whatever works. Now, of course, what a lot of people are finding is it's very hard these days, particularly in small, medium business land, to actually get cut through in such a splintered above the line, which is all forms of general advertising. It's so hard to get cut through in such a splintered market, and of course it's also very expensive. So if something doesn't work, and it's very much a pay and pray sort of situation where you put an ad in the paper on Saturday, hope it works, and if it works then something happens. If it doesn't work, then that's kind of the end of that. Now you may build brand, but of course it's very important you get an engine of advertising that's working for you. And it could be a combination of both. For some businesses, it's better to have different levels of each. But there's no real answer. But the important thing is to make sure what works for you is refined and improved and refined and improved. Now, a lot of people, and this is the problem, a lot of people are struggling with those traditional outbound methods of advertising because they don't work. Well, they certainly don't work like they used to.
So we obviously know that there's huge ROI on inbound marketing.
Yep.
How do you measure the ROI on your outbound marketing?
Well, that's tough, isn't it? I mean, how do you know if someone on a radio station comes to be a customer?
Yeah.
And so you kind of track it through door counters and sales and all kinds of different metrics. None of them are super impressive though when it comes to actually exact numbers, whereas inbound and anything related to digital has a huge advantage because it's very specific in what actually happens. Now, with a good inbound marketing website, what you're able to do is nurture your prospects down the funnel using a variety of different website pages and offering them premium content so they can convert on your website. Now, the two of them actually go very well together. If you've got a great inbound marketing website that is doing a wonderful job of converting, then outbound marketing that pushes people to that website is really valuable.
Yeah, okay. So you've just touched on the fact that they can both be working together.
Yeah.
What's a good example of how, I guess you've just sort of touched on one there, a radio campaign where you were sort of explaining your services. and then with a strong call to action at the end of the radio campaign of your URL for your website, and then seeing people come through that way. What are some other examples of how it could work?
Yeah, so look, above the line advertising traditionally is all about brand building. So when people think of a need they think of your brand as the business most likely to solve that problem. But of course, these days, it's only one part of the issue, because they may well think of you, but then they're going to go research you on the web, and they're going to check out your competitors on the web. And so by advertising on things like the radio, you're actually drawing attention to your category. So you are helping the competitors, because it's pretty unlikely the consumer's going to just say, yeah, I'm buying from you, when they've got all this information literally at their fingertips of the mobile phone. And so you want to make sure that if you are doing outbound marketing, you want to make sure that your website's in fantastic shape.
Yeah.
And a lot of people say they've got word of mouth marketing too.
Yeah.
Now, word of mouth is terrific back in the old days, where there was no other source or method of actual validation. So if I said to you, son, I've got this mate, he's a painter, he's fantastic, here's his number, you'd call him. But these days, you'd check him out, but also look at the website. Do I really like his website? I'll check out some others, go Google, find the painters, there you go, you make a decision. So the validation process, if that person had a bad website, then albeit a referral, word of mouth, it kind of counts as a bad experience on the web. So no matter what type of marketing you are doing, it's very important you have an amazing website that helps your customers.
Okay, so can one operate without the other? Can one outbound marketing strategy work without an inbound marketing strategy?
No, I don't think outbound can work without inbound working very well. I think that you've got to have a website, and the website has to be really, really good.
Okay.
And so if you are spending a lot of money on outbound and hoping they're going to convert, well, okay, so it might be toothpaste, or certainly fast-moving consumer goods can have that effect. But in business-to-business stuff and small business stuff, it's just very difficult to get instant conversions from above-the-line advertising. Big brands, big corporates, they're doing that, but they're doing it with a multi-channel, a hammering of our senses, pretty much.
Okay, so let's talk about budget. How does a budget allocation look from a marketing manager's perspective? How do I make that definition across the board with an inbound and outbound marketing strategy?
Yeah, look, I think there's, whatever the budget is one major differential. Is that when you're doing inbound marketing, you're effectively planning resources to be invested into your website, creating content, creating offers, creating premium content that's going to actually convert people. Now, that's a bit different when you're doing outbound. You're really saying, pick me, put me out on fire type stuff. And so as a result, I think it's fair to say one is very much an expense, and you hope that it works, and one is very much an investment that takes a bit longer to work. And so if we put going back to the ad in the paper, whack it out on a Saturday, hope I get calls Monday. If it doesn't work, I've done my dough next time around.
Okay.
A lot of people experience this in real estate marketing when they're selling their house. Open inspection, put the ad up, 3 people come, no deal, got to go next week again. That's very similar for everybody in above the line land. Now, the inbound marketing process, so every time you create a website page, ideally it should be evergreen, so that just boosts up the number of pages, and by doing so increase the number of Google searches that you're eligible to be seen on. So it adds a lot of value as an asset. So typically speaking, it might take longer, but it's more of an investment by comparison to the expensive cost of consistent pay and pray advertising.
Really quite a shift in thinking then, I guess, for a lot of boards and the C-suite in organisations to get their head around how inbound marketing can actually work and change that thought from being an expense to an asset.
Yeah, especially when a lot of people are advertising because that's what they listen to or that's what they watch. We see that a lot where they say, oh, I watch this or I listen to this, so I advertise on that. It's like, well, where's your market? And so huge issue with that. And also, there's a lot of advertising that occurs because people have ego. They just want to see themselves on telly or in the paper. But ultimately, you want to be where the eyeballs are. And this is what makes the website stuff super powerful. Facebook advertising really powerful. Google AdWords really powerful. But of course, it's all about making sure that there's 2 parts. Getting someone there to your website, but when they get to the website, what's happening? So what's happening on your website when someone gets there? And no matter how great your advertising is, if your website is poor, you're in trouble.
I do chuckle to myself because I find myself reading magazines these days and double tapping on the images in there, expecting to be taken through to a website.
Yeah, totally.
So thank you, Adam. Some great tips there about the differences between inbound and outbound. App of the day. App
of the day is a website. It's a cool little site. It's not pornographic. It's called boxshot.com. Boxshot.com, sorry, we are live. Boxshot.com, and that is a website that allows you to actually take a photograph and turn it into a book, a landing page book. So it's really good for if you're doing landing pages and you're giving away a free ebook and you want to actually go ahead and take a shot, a 3D shot, and get that on the site and make it more attractive to download.
Fantastic. Sounds good. Thank you for joining us today. If you would like to see any of our previous episodes, you are more than welcome to do so. You can see them at thekingdom.com.au/the-kingdom-live. We will be back tomorrow. Keep your queries coming, because we're really enjoying the feedback we're getting and turning them back around the next day into episodes. So thank you very much, and we will see you tomorrow.
Bye.